Back. Absolutely bloody backish. Brilliant. Steroids, drugs. Nuh-uh. Not in this process. Span chicken and rice. And for dessert, we're gonna put him on the roast. Spit him up, eh? Hey. Anyway. Back, absolutely brilliant. Speaking on the topic of food, just got back from dinner and had me thinking. So a lot of people get busted for steroids in professional sports such as boxing, etc., etc. What comes to mind, especially big man Canelo, he got absolutely sauced up from, I believe it was tren. Now, a lot of cows, believe it or not, if you don't know the origin of trenbolone, comes from, you know, they put it in the bull of a cow and make it, you know, mass, big guy, big steaks, yummy, yummy. Obviously that's illegal, and so are most things involving steroids and animals nowadays. However, back in the day, not so much. That's why you used to get chickens the size of your flipping arm, and you know, they more often than not had biceps bigger than your spaghetti arms. Now, obviously that's not a thing anymore, but it is still the case in some things, and you find minor portions of steroids, drugs, etc., etc. in foods, supplements, whatever, especially if they're manufactured in the same facilities. And you know, you see that in a more common case with people in peanut allergies, and on the wrappers of things it'll say, you know, may contain peanuts because it's produced in a factory where peanuts are being used in other things. And to be completely honest with you, if you have a peanut allergy, that's a bit weak of you, even though I have a peanut allergy, well, used to at least. You know, but a peanut allergy is very different to being allergic to peanuts. If you're allergic to peanuts, you know, that's rough. Not much you can do. If you don't have an allergy though, I think you're just a bit weak. Case in point, myself. Now, in terms of the doping and people saying that they're getting caught doping when really it's just from foods, etc., etc., that's an interesting case, I find, because obviously in bodybuilding, if you get caught doping, that's not a big deal because everyone's just on enormous amounts of juice. However, other sports, not so likely, because, you know, you're not going to be doping if you're doing a competitive fighting, for example, in the case of Canelo, because that's very much illegal. Now, this is when it comes into a bit of interesting in my mind, is if you supposedly have been tested positive for some form of steroid or performance enhancing drug due to a malfunction in a produce such as supplements, food, etc., etc., that's so minute, and they'll like find a minute amount. More common case, Ryan Garcia, that's happened recently. Now, very controversial, etc., etc., but at least in my mind, more likely than not, probably just a small bit of, you know, a little injection here, tablet there, get the muscles flowing, blood pumping, biceps bigger. Illegal, yes, you know, not great for the competitive sports scene, yes. Does it make it interesting? Now, I've recently seen someone, I'm not entirely sure if this is accurate and it's going to happen, but in jiu-jitsu, it's well known that most of the time you can use steroids, and a lot of the people in jiu-jitsu are on steroids and they are enormous. Now, I find that interesting in the regard of, first of all, this is someone doing a professional sport, so obviously they're doing it for professional reasons. I don't think you should be taking performance enhancing drugs if you're, you know, a 16-year-old idiot who wants bigger biceps, because that's stupid. You're going to lose your hair, you're going to lose your kidney function, organ function, and your ticker is going to stop ticking. Not good. Now, in the case of, you know, competitive sports, I find it more interesting in the regard of, obviously with bodybuilding, people are pushing their physical and muscle bodybuilding capabilities to the absolute maximum, which is very cool to visually see how the human body what it can do and the extent it can go to. Now, if you were to put that into the fighting scene, obviously you can't do it if everyone else is natural, because massive advantage, and you're more than likely just going to pummel someone, which is not great. Whatever. So now, how cool would it be, and this is what I was about to speak about, is if there was a professional fighting scene, just like there is professional bodybuilding, where obviously they're on steroids to get their body to that physique, because let's be real, Arnold was not natural, even though some people out there, for some odd reason, believe he is. But the fighting scene, people push their bodies to the absolute limits of fighting capabilities. Very dangerous, more than likely. People are going to just pummel each other, which will be great for entertainment purposes if you're into competitive sports such as fighting. Now, I think that's very interesting, because obviously you always want to see the top performance, the top athletes in every division, and you're not going to be able to see that in combat sports unless doping is permitted. Now, that comes to the point of, would there be regulations in regards to it? What would be allowed, what wouldn't? And ultimately, to what extent would it be allowed? Now, I personally would love to see that. Would it be good for, the health of the fighters? No. Is it good for bodybuilders' health? No. However, it is more entertaining than seeing a natural bodybuilder. Now, I'm not saying a natural bodybuilder isn't impressive, because some natural bodybuilders are incredibly impressive. And a lot of people don't realize the extent you can actually get to naturally and how big you can actually get naturally. And a lot of people don't reach their full capability before taking steroids and performance enhancing drugs. Same thing would go for fighting. At what extent do you think, wow, I should start taking performance enhancing drugs to amplify my already enormous skill to be even better? And, entertainment. Who doesn't like a good show? Anyway, I thought that was interesting. And I think it's interesting that a lot of people blame, doping on foods or supplements that are tainted, when really it's just own it, bro. I think if you are going to get caught, if you're going to get caught doping, you might as well own it and be like, yeah, I did it. I guess it's detrimental to your career to some extent, but are you really like that, locked in if you're doing it anyway? Would you really be doing it unless you thought you had already reached your full capability and couldn't get the advantage over your opponent unless you were enhanced by a supplement? I don't know. That's at least my 2 cents on the situation. Anyway, I hope that's been interesting, entertaining in some way, shape or form. In terms of back today, damn, bloody amazing. Obviously, it was sponsored by pure adrenaline, testosterone in my system, and a whole lot of chicken and rice. Well, in my case, mince and rice, which has started to taste suspiciously like cardboard and makes me think my taste buds have been dampened. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you found it entertaining. Don't take anything I say for fact, because I'm no doctor, no genius, no scientist. I'm just some fella. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed watching. Thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.